It's your boy, Cherry Hunts Figs, and I'm back with another weekly review. I skipped last week. It's all John Cena's fault. He didn't win the Rumble, so I had no choice but to cancel the weekly review video. That, and on top of it, I only bought like one thing that week, so really wasn't warranted for a video. As always, I stopped by Goodwill a couple times, just picked up a couple things here and there, little small things. You really can't turn things down when they're less than $2, so you're gonna go ahead and buy things. As usual, I picked up a few DVDs. I picked up something else that I didn't know I'd actually find in the wild, but I found one. Got a few figures here, a couple cards, so without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. First up, I've been collecting the Edward Villa cards. I'm not sure how to say his name. Tony Soprano ones specifically, you've seen me talk about them in other weekly reviews, but I picked up 4 more. As of right now, I believe the number he's up to is 16, so he's got 16 different cards of Tony Soprano. I mean, it's not really, I don't believe it's not hand-done work. It's basically just a screenshot from the episode or from promo pictures. And it's just kind of like artistically watercolored digitally. But either way, I mean, I only got them because they're Tony Soprano cards. And literally, they're just a few bucks. And if I already got my feet wet, I might as well jump in the pool completely. So I did pick up 4 more. I picked up numbers 9, 10, 12, and 14. So the first one, we got number 10 right here. It's just Tony chilling out at Satriali's, just posted up, being the G that he is, no big deal. Having a little cappuccino. A little cappuccino. So there's that one. These are numbered to 50. For these ones, I'm not a low number guy. I don't really care. Like, for instance, we got 2 26s and we got a 40 and a 41. So, yeah. Anyways, this one, This one, we got Tony Soprano lighting up his cigar, just being the boss man that he is. Next one, we got Tony just looking disheveled and depressed. Based on this picture, it almost looks like the episode where he has like a reaction to the lithium that Dr. Melfi prescribes him. He starts hallucinating Isabella that lives next door. It almost looks like he's dressed up like that. I'm not sure that's the scene, but it looks like it. And then the next card, number 12, is Tony eating his rigatoni. He's chilling there with Paulie on the boat. And this is actually a plate that Paulie made. He made that pasta. And he said, I think it's rigatoni alla Paulie or something. This is the scene where Tony starts to question whether or not Paulie's actually loyal. It comes out that Paulie is the one who let the joke slide to Johnny Sack while he's locked up. Ginny Sack is a bigger woman. And somebody made a joke about having a 90-pound mole on her ass. And it got back to Johnny Sack. And the whole time, Tony had a feeling that it was Paulie, but he couldn't actually prove it because Paulie just kept denying it. Now he's just looking at Paulie the whole time, just like, how did John find out about that joke? And he knew Paulie was, but Paulie kept denying it. And then he keeps looking at an axe, and he keeps thinking he has the opportunity to kill Paulie. But he doesn't. I mean, it's Uncle Paulie. He doesn't kill him. So, yeah. Anyway, sorry about my Sopranos diatribe. I'm a huge Sopranos fan, and I know almost everything about the show. And I can't help but flex that knowledge any chance that I get. So, here we are. Anyways, moving on to the next thing. So, like I mentioned, I stopped by Goodwill a few times while I was on my walk this week. So, I picked up a few more DVDs. And the idea of the DVDs that I'm getting, I'm trying to go through the log of things that, I'm basically relating it to actors that I like. So, I start off there, and I kind of go through the filmography from them. So, for instance, Adam Sandler is one that I'm going for. A lot of people don't like Adam Sandler. I know a lot of people think he's just a cornball. I understand that, right? I grew up on him, so it's a little bit nostalgic for me. I'm not going to lie. But I started collecting all the Happy Madison movies. So, I have a few already in the collection, a few that I picked up and shown on the weekly reviews, but I picked up a couple more. So, starting off with Big Daddy. First of all, I thought I had this movie because I love this movie. When I was a kid, this movie made me cry. That scene where the social worker comes and he takes Julian back, and Julian's looking back and he's like, I wiped my own ass. I wiped my own ass. That made me cry as a kid because I'm like, bro, he just learned how to wipe his own ass and now you're taking it from him? Anyways, so I got it on DVD. I'm going to make sure that I throw that into the server. And then next up, I got another Happy Madison movie. I got Dickie Roberts, former child star. I remember seeing this when I was younger. And the only memory I really have of this movie, literally, like when I think about it now, the only memory I have of it, I was like, yo, Screech is in this movie. Like Screech from Saved by the Bell's in this movie, and I completely forgot. And that's the only thing I can remember from this movie. So I still haven't rewatched it. I just kind of kept it in here so I didn't forget to talk about it on the weekly reviews. And then next up, I've got a few more DVDs. So this one, I'm not going to go through each individual one, but as you guys know, I have the Harry Potter display that I always talk about, but clearly never show on any of my videos, and I'm sorry for that. I'm trying to plan an actual room tour, and this isn't where I want it right now. So for now, you just have to believe me that it's behind the camera. I wanted to go ahead and have like a consecutive single DVD set of the Harry Potter series. So I've been trying to find just like similar sightings. I really don't care about like what actual content is on here. I own like every single version of Harry Potter you can have, and it's on all the streaming services at any given time because it's a money maker of a series. So I ended up picking up a few more DVDs. So I picked up the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth on DVD. So I mean, I was like, yo, I think I have one of these at the house already. So, but I just don't remember which one I have. So I picked up all 5 that were available just in case I grabbed the wrong one. So turns out I already have The Prisoner of Azkaban in here, but I got another 2 disc, and this one, like the previous one, comes with the original inserts. So pretty solid. I don't need 2 copies of it, but I'm glad that I have a complete copy and it's in pretty decent condition. Not gonna complain about that for $1.29 or whatever. Who talks badly about $1.29? Like, come on, bro. And then next up, I don't want to say that like this is a holy grail, but like this was a golden nugget that I found while I was just hunting in the wild. It is the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire audiobook, original CDs. So like the condition of the sleeve, you know, not that good, but I grabbed this for literally $4.50, and it is complete. There's every disc. And this is amazing that there are 17 discs to make a full audiobook. I mean, I don't know, was it the longest book or was it the second longest book? It's either the let me see, it's right there. Okay, well, based on the book size, I'm looking at the bookcase behind me. Based on the book size, it looks like the Goblet of Fire is a little bit smaller just from the angle, but I can't confirm. Either way, it's the first or second biggest Harry Potter book, and it's 17 CDs. So I'm glad I found this. I really wanted the audiobook. I mean, the audiobook for Harry Potter, for any of them, you could really just kind of find them anywhere on YouTube. Or like, even if you look it up on Spotify, sometimes it'll just pop up on Spotify, but it'll usually only be on there for a few days. There's a copyright, obviously, but it's a pretty easy series to find. It's just you kind of have to jump around once it gets deleted. So what I've been trying to do is try to get all the audiobooks at least burned and backed up and put onto my iPod, which I actually still have because I'm rebuilding it. But I still have my iPod and I kind of want to put audiobooks on it. I think it'd be funny. Can also go ahead and throw it on there without having to pay. I don't really believe in paying for a subscription service for audiobooks. That's crazy. That's a crazy concept for me. I don't know why, because everything else is a streaming service. Like, you have to pay for Netflix, you have to pay to watch movies, you have to pay to listen to music with Spotify or Apple Music. You have to pay to play video games for a cheaper price or online exclusive between PlayStation Plus and all that. It's just everything is, for editing audio and video, you have to pay a subscription monthly for Pro Tools and Premiere. And it's just enough of my diatribe about subscription services. Nonetheless, I picked this up, the Goblet of Fire. I'm pretty excited about it. And I figured if I can't find the other ones out in the wild, I'm almost positive any public library probably has this still on CD. I'm confident in that because I feel like anytime I go to the public library, it's just filled with like childhood books, like Judy Blume books and Mac Dre CDs. It's like the craziest mashup of things at a public library. So I have reason to believe you could probably find the other audiobooks. And if that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and just do it that way. Either way. Here we are. Let's move on to the next thing. So this next item is the one thing that I picked up last week that I talked about earlier in the video that I didn't want to make just a video about specifically, but in a roundabout way, I did actually end up making a video about this figure because it is the Ethan Page big rubber guy, brother. Look at that. Look at that. All right, so I did an unboxing video about that. Here's the Ethan Page. I gave my full review in the video. It is another big rubber guy to add onto the shelf, which is like gradually getting bigger and bigger, and it's just expanding. My one takeaway from this is it's a solid figure. I love everything about it. It's like so stiff and it's great, right? The only thing I complained about really was the way it stands. It doesn't have a, I mean, my hand's not a good test, but I can't show you right here. But it doesn't stand properly, so I have to put it inside a figure stand, so that way it stands accordingly. It doesn't knock over the other ones, but it is a great figure, nonetheless. Posted a short clip from the unboxing of me getting a whiff of it when I opened it up, and I posted it as a video, and Ethan Page posted it to his story and asked me, why am I smelling him? So I didn't have a real answer to that, and that was my response. I wish I had a real answer for this. And there really was no answer. Either way, I got another Big Rubber Guy in the collection. I chose to get it despite everyone else not picking up, well, not everyone else, but despite a lot of other people not picking this up because it's a modern guy with the LJN tribute type thing. I think that's bull. I think you need, if you're a complete, bro, if you're in on this series at this point, you're a completist. You have to be. So you need this in your collection. I don't care what anybody says. Moving on, just to another figure that I just released a video for yesterday. It is another Big Rubber Guy. And this one, I pre-ordered a while back. It was in October because this was a Halloween exclusive on collectmajor.com. This is the Ultimate Warrior Makeup Andre the Giant in the blue singlet. I didn't really have another need for another Andre other than the fact that I'm a Big Rubber Guy completist, and I thought this was a funny gimmick. But either way, I mean, it's a great figure. Like I reviewed it, it's super thick. Like the rubber that they use for this, I mean, whether it's rubber or it's just like super thick plastic, I don't really know. But the casting and like the rubber mold, it is really good. I love the quality of the Big Rubber Guys. That is literally my #1 collection, period. The only thing that I don't have in the collection so far that hasn't been released, I don't have Demolition. I don't have the regular ones, and I don't have the chase versions of them either. So I need to pick those up soon. It just seems like every time they're listed, they're always like $500 for both because everyone knows that's what the market's like. At the beginning of Big Rubber Guys, not everybody was all in on that. That's what it seemed like. So it seems like nobody really picked up, and I mean that respectfully to the company. Like, I love Collect Major, don't get me wrong. What I'm saying is I feel like that plays into the scarcity of Series 1 and 2. So like you can find a Series 1 Matt Cardona and a Brian Myers probably on Whatnot every once in a while, or you can find it on eBay, but it's like usually like $80 to $100, right? Something more. And then you have like Demolition, which I believe was Series 2. And then they came out the regular version of Demolition and also the chase version with the redder face paint. So it's a whole thing where like a lot of people weren't all in yet. So nobody was really purchasing them. The people who did might have already known that it was going to grow the way that it has, and they capitalized. So now they can flip those figures easily for like $400 or $500. Even talking them down to like $300 for just one pair. Not even just like for all four, for one pair. It's crazy. But I mean, at this point, I'm like literally willing to pay that because it's the only ones I don't have. Everything else that's been an exclusive, whether it's like a Comic-Con exclusive or a convention exclusive, website, whatever, I have picked it up. Third-party vendors, like the other places that have exclusives, different variants and stuff, I've picked all of those up too. I'm literally caught up except for Demolition. So that is my goal this year. I plan to conquer that goal fairly quickly if I have any say in this. I want to make sure that I have the complete series of Big Rubber Guys thus far by the end of this year. That is one of my goals for 2025. I want to make sure that that collection is complete to my best ability. So that being said, I did have to pick up the Andre. I did have to pick up the Ethan Page. Both sick figures. Now I have 3 Andres in my collection. It's wild. I've got the blue singlet Andre, then I've got the black singlet Andre. Now this is a blue singlet face paint. Imagine if they came out with like a different variant of this one, because like Andre technically has done this face paint multiple times. There's that promo where he's with Brother Love and he turns around and he's given this face, but it's more of like a white and a red and I think maybe a tiny tinge of blue. It's kind of just like scattered around his face. They could do that inside like a black singlet or even another blue singlet. It's still a variant. So there's so many options with just this one mold. So capitalizing on somebody like this that has had different looks, but is known for one iconic look, plus knowing that it's a classic person like this. So any older wrestling fan will also capitalize on this, even if they're not a figure collector. So I'm telling you, bro, Collect Major has it all figured out. At this point, the way that I keep talking them up and the way that I talk about big rubber guys, you would think that they're paying me for this. They're not. I'm not being paid by anybody. I'm just genuinely such a big fan of this series. So I won't shut up until they get demolition. That's the end of the story. But also, before I forget, look at this. It came with an Andre the Giant Halloween mask. You can cut it out. You can attach it to your face. I said this in the other video. It's as big as my face. It's not really a giant's face. You can't get me to believe that this is the size of his face. That's unbelievable. Last but not least, probably the most anticipated thing. I mean, I'll say one of the most anticipated figures in the past year. Hands down, been waiting for this. It is the Mattel Creations CM Punk made to order exclusive. I already did a small little unboxing of it. I'm not actually opening this figure. I am probably going to pick up another one down the line when I get this era started on a shelf. But for now, I do want to keep this in the box. I'm trying to find a case that'll properly fit it. But overall, man, it's a pretty simplistic figure, but the demonstration and the display is pretty solid. So like I'm a big fan of like exclusive boxes, and I've said this about Jazzwares. Jazzwares does a great job of their like not limited, but like their individual figures and having a special theme. The artwork is always sick. It's always nasty, bro. It is right up there with it. Mattel did a great job with this. This was made to order, and it was like a whole debacle where there were a certain amount of people that ordered it. They were getting notifications that it was on the way. And then a bunch of other people were getting notifications, shipments are delayed. It'll be delivered on such and such date. And everybody who got the email that was complaining, everybody who got the email stating that it was going to be delivered at a later date was complaining that, oh, Mattel is pushing it off. It's back ordered. How do you back order a made to figure order? As if you don't think this figure is going to be, first of all, you make a made to order CM Punk just based on CM Punk's previous figures that Mattel has put out and prior to him re-signing with WWE, okay? So prior to him doing any of that, CM Punk figures were through the roof in pricing in the secondary market. If you hit up Edward Bay, or if you hit up Mr. Makari, any of those places, any CM Punk figure was like crazy, astronomically high. And it was almost to the point where it was like, I'm not going to spend that much money on one figure on the off chance that he might actually come back. But the way that Punk was, he was very much no WWE, right? Whole thing. Never say never in wrestling, of course. But because of that, this figure came out. So they're going off of the mindset of all of Punk's previous figures are still through the roof. So if we can get a made to order specifically, are you kidding me? So I'm sure mad people hopped on this. Mine was unfortunately a part of the stack of emails that got sent that says that the shipment is delayed and it's back ordered or whatever. But if you actually looked at the website and you looked at the date in the email, they were the same. Like nothing was back ordered. I think they used the wrong term because like that set people off. And there were so many people in the Facebook groups that were complaining about it. And then there were so many people in the comments responding like this was the normal street date. Like they said that it was going to be delayed, but it really wasn't delayed. Mine was either supposed to be delivered on the 15th of February or like the 27th of February, right? So today is the 8th and I got this already. So like nothing was back ordered. It was as expected. So I'm super stoked. And I was afraid when I grabbed the box because the box that it came in was a longer box. So like when I picked it up, it was just shaking around. And in my head, I was like, this thing is going to be dinged like no other when I open it. And I'm about to be pissed because I didn't want to open this. I didn't want to take it out of the box. I told myself if I had to, I would because I need to get one anyway to display loose later on. But I really wanted one just in box for now. I understand the made to order things. A lot of people capitalize by buying like 10, 20, however many Mattel would let you buy. People could have. This actually came, obviously, like I just showed you in the separate box. So it came in pretty good condition. They were just like a little, not even like bad. Like there was just like the smallest of like unavoidable little tiny, and that's okay. Like this is still a very sick figure. I don't know. I like it. I remember watching this Survivor Series, and much like everybody else who was watching it, the internet was buzzing that Punk was coming back. They were, the dirt sheets were speculating, the internet, the IWC, they were buzzing about CM Punk coming back. Pepsi Phil. So It didn't seem like he was by the end of the show because the special return was Randy Orton. He came back from his injury, right? People were excited to see Randy, but at the end of the day, everyone wanted to see Punk. And then, of course, the lower third pops up at the bottom of the screen, and then, sure enough, it's clobbering time. And his music hits, he comes out, and he just sits down, and that's it. That's how the show closes. So completely takes the spotlight away from Randy Orton from his return from injury, but he still makes his return back to WWE, which is clearly much bigger, given, the history of CM Punk in the WWE. So this figure was a must, of course. So I'm going to throw this in the collection. I am keeping it in the actual insert box because I need to find a proper casing for this. I don't want it to get dusty and dinged additionally. I drop things all the time. I have a curious cat that runs around my house and she likes to knock things over. And God forbid she has it out for old Pepsi Phil, and I'm not having that. So for now, it is going to remain inside this box until I find myself a case. But sick figure either way. There you have it. Another weekly review. Not many figures, just a couple big rubber guys and then the CM Punk figure. So mainly just pre-orders if you really want to look at it that way. I really haven't had time to go figure hunting within like the past month. So I'm really hoping that the next couple weeks I am going to get a few more figure hunt videos in. I need to really start getting out there again because sometimes when you only purchase things online or you're only purchasing pre-orders, it kind of kills the itch. At least for me, I'll speak for myself in that instance. It kills my itch a little bit where I'm only ordering online and I have to put in pre-orders and I'm paying off the pre-orders and I pay for those and I have to wait so many months to actually receive them. Don't get me wrong, it's great when they actually come in, when you get that notification saying it's on its way. That's an amazing feeling, but I really do need to get out and do some fig hunting. Walmart's distribution really has killed my fig hunting. Like I was really big on the Monday Night War series and then I just couldn't find them anywhere and I'm sick of paying secondary prices for them. So either way, I'll be back with more figure hunts. I need to get out of this. I need to get my itch back. But nevertheless, I appreciate you joining me on this week's video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to smash the like button. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you leave a comment that might make me laugh so I can give you a funny response back. Yada, yada, yada. I don't know what else people are supposed to say here. I should probably come up with a better gig, but I'll see you in the next video.